Yo guys, what is going on? It's SumitHD here, back with the fifth episode of Thinking Out Loud. And today we have a very special guest, an influencer of some type, and she is the winner of Miss India Worldwide Kenya 2018. So without any further ado, let me just allow her to share her story and introduce herself. Tell us.
Hi, I'm Isha. I am 19. I mean, I've gone through a lot as far as being in the industry. Well, I wouldn't say I'm a prominent member of the industry, but like I'm trying to get there. I started when I was around 4 years old. I've been singing since I was four. So singing has been a big part of my life, obviously. And starting at such a young age has like made me very confident on stage, talking to people. It's made me an extrovert, and yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to music. I grew up performing on stages in front of many people. So I went ahead and did the whole Miss India Worldwide Kenya thing, and to my surprise, like I ended up winning it. And I'd say that that changed my life as well. It made me a more confident version of who I was, and now where I've reached in life, I'm a much more secure person in my own skin. I'm much happier, and yeah, I mean, I'm just living life to the best right now. So yeah, that's it. That's me.
Right, that is inspirational to most of our viewers. Uh, Let us begin today's questions, Krish.
Okay, so obviously you've already achieved quite a lot. And what are your future plans? What's missing on your achievement list? What do you plan to achieve in the future?
Well, I do consider myself an entrepreneur, so definitely doing a lot of things to make money for myself, sustain a family, sustain myself. Uh, as far as music is concerned, I'd love to produce my own original compositions, put them out there, and yeah, just like get my music out there so that everybody can hear my voice. And I just want to be like independent, just be my own person.
Great, great.
Right. Um, so you already mentioned that you started singing at the age of 4. So
Hmm.
I want to ask you, what was your childhood like, and how was your schooling, and how did you weigh the activities that you were doing at that time?
Uh, well, my childhood, I had a good childhood. I'm not gonna lie. I'm blessed to have a good childhood. My parents have always been supportive of everything I've done. I've always had good friends around me who have always like motivated me and stuff. So I guess my childhood was pretty conducive, you can say that. But I mean, sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Like, how did you weigh your schooling and the activities that you were doing?
I don't think I ever did that. I kind of just went with the flow. Like I did what I had to do when I had to do it. So there was not really a chance for me to like make a timetable or like sort my timings out. I just did what came my way. Like whatever opportunity came my way, I just do it. You can't really wait for opportunity because then you lose the opportunity out of your hands.
Right, that is facts.
Yeah, so moving on to my next question. When you're on stage, when you're performing, what goes through your mind?
Mhm.
And of course, everyone has becomes nervous when they're going through such a thing. And how do you overcome the nervousness?
For me, when I was younger, I used to get really nervous. Especially in singing, you have to when you get on stage, you can't be shaky, you can't be nervous because it will show in your voice. So when I was young,
Right,
it would actually show in my voice that I was nervous, and like my mouth would get dry, like you get cotton mouth, and then you get
Yeah.
all like you just get like so hesitant to do anything on stage. But as I've grown and as I've like performed over the years, I've learned that at the end of the day, whatever you're doing on that stage, you have to leave your heart out there. And if you're not sending the message that like you've put all your effort into this performance, nobody will really resonate with your performance. They'll not connect with you. And if you're going to let your nerves get the best of your performance, nobody will ever connect with you. So I always put that in my head. I always say, look, if you want to connect with people, you have to be one with them. You cannot be nervous because they're not
Yeah.
nervous to watch you. So why should you be nervous to perform?
Oh wow, that's a
Wow.
completely different mindset from some of us.
Right. I don't think we expected that type of mindset because like most of us are actually like just deal with the nervousness differently, and everyone is different.
Hmm.
So we appreciate that
Yeah,
Yeah.
mindset you have.
And hopefully some of our listeners can learn from you and tackle
hopefully.
their future events.
Yeah, hopefully, man.
Right. I want to ask you, after all these achievements, there must have been something that set you back. There must have been something that, that didn't go according to plan. So, what was that one thing? And what was that one thing that basically stopped you from progressing?
I don't even think it's just one thing. There's so many things that have stopped me from progressing, especially during this whole Miss India journey. Like doing Miss India with all these girls who are so beautiful in their own way, you know. And
Right.
like obviously you get in your head you get in your head a bit. You have insecurities. Everybody has insecurities. But one thing, like I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit different the way I think, but those are just obstacles for me to overcome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anything has ever set me back. And if something has set me back, it's not set me back, it set me on another path, on a different journey. But it's just whatever happens in life. Like, have you heard that thing? Like, it is what it is, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if things set you back, they set you back. Like, what are you gonna do? You just have to find a better way to come back after you have that setback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there was one thing you could change from the past, from before, what would it be and why?
That's a hard question because I mean I'm really proud of the person that I am, and I feel like I'm a firm believer in like changing the past will really change the present and can affect your future.
Right.
So I mean I wouldn't change anything about my past
So there's
because
nothing
Oh,
it's
at all that would like maybe not towards your like personality. Let's just say something small that if you changed, then maybe something better could have happened. Maybe you would have been on a different path or a better path.
um no actually like who knows what other paths you could have been on, like those are just what if questions. You
yeah,
have to always think about the path that you're on already and how you can make that better. Like things that have happened in the past have happened, now what? Now you can just make it better from here on now. But if I were to change something about my past, it would definitely be um I learned very late in my life about listening to other people's perspectives. Like
mm,
when I was younger, I never used to care as much. But as I've grown, like that has changed. So yeah, in my past, I would have definitely wanted to hear people out more.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so what would your piece of advice be to anyone who's trying to follow your path or go into something similar as what you have been on, and what's the one thing you tell them to do?
I would just tell people, just be yourself because there's nothing else, there's nobody else in this world that can actually be exactly like you. And you are your own, like, unique self. So if you are 100% yourself and true to yourself, then there's no force on earth that can stop you. And no matter what people say, always find a way to move forward. Like, I'm sure like many people, especially in this generation, they have so many insecurities, they have so many,
Yeah,
Right.
like, the smallest of things affect your mental health. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, that's a very mindful thing to have. But the key in all of this is to not let those things affect you, not let society set a standard for who you are supposed to be, because you have to be your own person. And if you're going to be like everybody else, then you'll never stand out. Yeah, that would be my piece of advice.
Wow,
uh,
that has moved my heart, and I'm sure that most of our viewers need to take this piece of advice from a young influencer and entrepreneur. So she has the experience, so she's speaking out of it. So make sure you guys learn from this.
No, I mean, I was just saying that like there's so many different things in the world today that you can possibly do. Don't try and follow somebody else's footsteps. Like, create your own, obviously. But obviously take guidance from people that have been through that before. Because if you're not going to take guidance, then you're just going to make
Right.
mistakes that other people have made. And only silly people make the same mistakes other people have made. Don't make the
Yeah.
same mistakes other people make.
Yeah.
If you want to make a mistake, make sure it's a new mistake. Don't make the same ones as other people. So
That's
yeah.
actually, it's a metaphorically, like, it makes you think. So thank you for that
Yeah.
statement. All right. So as I'd mentioned before, I was actually present there live, like during your talent showcase, when you were crowned the winner, you know, and also
Hmm.
when Arjun pulled you out of the crowd for you to perform.
Yeah.
What I just want to know what was going through your mind, like what were you feeling?
I was feeling everything you could possibly feel. Like from the moment I was crowned, like I was crying. Even before I got crowned, like I could hear the whole crowd screaming my name, and
Right.
I was like, yo, is this actually happening? Am I actually about to win? Like shit. And I started crying when I heard the first person scream my name, and then two people, three people, four people, and everybody from the audience was just screaming my name. I started crying. I was happy, but at the same time, I was like, oh my God, like what is happening? And then, like when the crown was put on my head, I still couldn't believe that I actually won. But it took like a minute for me to just really, understand what exactly was happening because it was just like everything was just happening. Because the moment I got crowned, somebody pulled me off stage. Let's go take photos. You have a photo shoot right now. So I was like, oh shit, okay, let me put on my shoes. So I went. I was like, okay, photo shoot. You run back to stage and you're like, you have to do a walk for everybody. Then after you did your walk, then Arjun comes on stage and you're performing with him. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm performing with Arjun. Like, what the hell? And I was like, so I didn't, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but performing with Arjun was just a whole different feeling because when I started singing, everybody screamed. So I was like, are they screaming for me or are they screaming for Arjun? But then they screamed when I was singing. So obviously I was like, oh shit, they're screaming for me.
Yeah.
And that just put everything into perspective. It really made me feel, it validated myself for me even
Mm.
though I didn't need it, but it felt so good. So yeah, I was feeling like on top of the world on that day. Even like after that, until today, I'm still feeling like I'm so like honored to have been crowned that like Miss India Kenya
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
be like
And
an inspiration to people.
yeah,
and
I'm
would you
sure.
say your life has changed by a great amount due to this
Yeah,
title?
definitely because now people don't refer to me as Isha; they refer to me as Miss India Kenya. So, like, I mean, it's it has changed my life. It's made me more confident. It's made me more outspoken. It's given me responsibility because before I was just a singer. When I won, it was like I have a responsibility to be a representation for all of the girls around here and for the guys, like to understand what exactly it is like to be a woman in today's society.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
So
course.
yeah, I had a lot of responsibility that I felt like I should embody a certain person so that people don't feel afraid to be themselves. So yeah, it has changed my life a lot.
Right, because I'm sure not everybody goes through, not everybody gets the chance to, go through
Hmm.
something like that. So I'm pretty sure it must have been something special.
It was.
Right. Let's move to the final question for the day. Uh, how are you dealing with the quarantine? Like psychologically, mentally, how are you dealing with it?
Well, I've been doing a lot of like painting. I like painting. I'm an artist. Like I'm really creative. So I've been doing a lot of like art, painting. I've been singing. Uh, I've been like trying to work out here and there when I get time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm doing fine. Like psychologically, it takes a toll on you. Like being alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes even just like this curfew on its own is it's a scary thing.
Right.
Um, when you're like rushing home at 6:45 and you just see cops everywhere and you're like, I'm about to get caught. But then you're like, "Ah, it's fine, I'm safe at home." But I'm staying safe. I'm staying at home
Right.
sometimes. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I'm fine. You just have to learn how to cope with yourself. Like, I think people are like like misunderstanding this time. Like you have to use this time to like understand yourself better, and you'll come out of this like a whole different person. You'll know who you
True.
are, and once you know who you are, then there's nothing that can stop you. So
Stop.
I think this is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. But
That
yeah,
was
it's sad that
wise.
people are losing their lives, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a good thing for as an individual. I'm like blessed to be in shelter and I have food and I have healthcare. But for the people that don't, I can only imagine what it must be like.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Krish, any more questions?
No.
All right, then. I'm sure we have all learned a lot in today's episode. Thank you so much, Isha, for joining us today.
Anytime, anytime, anytime.
Right, and I guess that wraps up episode 5 of Thinking Out Loud. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Sumit HD out.